What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, and I'm reconnected. Buffering. You're now rocking with the best live streamer, period. I would like to believe. And I'm joking, but I could be. You never know. I'm here now in this moment. But it's not about this moment, is it? I was having a conversation. Actually, I just finished listening to some Luther Vandross. I was having a conversation, though, before I was listening to Luther Vandross, Superstar. Very reflective song, very deep. Having a conversation with my mother, and she was asking me, different things. We were talking and whatnot. Excuse me. What's going on, Molly 1K? See you out there. Got a pot of tea. Woo! Yeah, that's hot. Anyway, what's up, Molly 1K? So my mother asks me a question as we're talking, and she says to me, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I just kind of was like, I answered her, being sarcastic as I am, I said in space, somewhere. But knowing my mother, that's a question she really wanted to answer to. And it's one of those things that you really can't, just answer, Yeah, 5 years I hope to be breathing too, Molly Dolly. But sometimes in 5 years, I really don't know. Sometimes in 5 years, when I look at 5 years, when I look in the short term and the long term, I really don't know. I mean, I hope to be alive. I hope to be relevant. I hope to be significant or effective in whatever it is that I'm trying to do. Hopefully impactful, powerful with what I'm doing. I know there's a lot of changes that need to be made. I hope in 5 years that whoever I am now, I'm a different person. That's where I really hope to be in 5 years. But I know when my mother asked me that question, as I cut this lemon, ooh, I deal with life daily and alive. 5 years, it's good. Yeah, no, I agree with you, Molly Dolly. If I'm alive in 5 years, then that's a blessing. If I'm alive in 5 minutes from now, that's another blessing. But my mother was asking the question, and I try not to ignore my mother. When your mom's asks you a question, for those folks that still have their parents in their life, you can't just totally ignore the question, even if you don't answer it right then and there. There's a particular time and place that you want to answer the question. I mean, this is a question you could ask yourself, out there for those people that watch it. For maybe people who don't want to tackle that. Maybe some people in 5 years from now, they don't want to think about where they're going to be. But I guess it was just something that I felt like sharing and talking about, because, we do have a tendency to, worry too much about the future, maybe ignore the past. I mean, no, maybe pay too much attention to the past, while, ignoring where we're going to be, in certain instances. Hopefully I'm making sense. Sometimes, basically what I'm trying to say is that we're paying attention to the wrong thing. Sometimes we're putting too much emphasis on the past, when we should be in the present. Too much emphasis on the future when we should be, thinking about where we were. Thank you, Molly Dolly. I appreciate that. As I pour my tea, I got all these, nice teas and stuff that I'm actually mixing. But that's what that is. So I guess it's just about putting things in the proper context. That's why I thought about the question that my mother asked me. I didn't want to just dismiss it and pass over it. She was actually on her way to work to do something, so I didn't really have time to get long and reflective and, long-winded, long in the tooth, or long in the jaw, as they say. But I don't know. It's just a situation in 5 years from now. I hope that, I'm in a better mind state, that I've learned more, that I've grown more, that I've learned, that I've taught, that I've experienced, that I've laughed, I loved, I cried, I really connected with people, and hopefully in 5 years from now, whoever you are, wherever you coming from, hopefully you've connected with people in the ways that you wanted to, in the ways that you needed to. For me, where do I see myself 5 years from now? I see myself 5 years from now wherever I need to be. Like I'm on this live stream in this moment, in this particular time with you. This is where I need to be, expressing myself. Creative spirit, what's going on? Thank you for coming through. Molly Dolly 1K, thank you for showing yourself in the chat. I appreciate you. War, I appreciate you both. I appreciate everybody lurking in the background. I appreciate the people that give the thumbs up. I appreciate the people that give the thumbs down, all the way around. I wish people nothing but prosperity, success. Sometimes people have to learn the hard way to get where they need to be, to grow and stuff like that. So like I said, it is something to think about. I don't try to dismiss it when it comes to, the long term, just a projection out there in the future. But I don't want to be so focused on the next 5 years that I forget to live for today. I guess that's the situation, because while my mother was asking me the question, about where do you see yourself in 5 years, I know why she was asking it, because in 5 years she sees herself in different places, which I'm not going to talk about what me and my mother talked about, but she sees herself doing, particular things that are different from what she's doing now. So all I hope is that I am in a different spot, in the place where I need to be. Turtle Slayer, thank you for coming to. Not because I'm greedy, my goal is to help hundreds and hundreds of people. I would love to just be able to take the burden off families, etc. I spent the last 4 years doing that. I could appreciate that, Molly Dolly. You went to school, so you kind of knew where you saw yourself in the previous 5 years at this moment. If you have a goal, if you have something that you're striving for, that you're setting out to do, there's nothing wrong with that. I applaud that. That's a beautiful thing. And also that's cool what you want to do, Turtle Slayer, as well. What I don't want to do, is fool myself. I don't want to unrealistically, project something on myself that ain't there. I don't want to live somebody else's version of my life. I don't want to be, who others think I should be. That's what I really hope. I really hope that, I am where I'm supposed to be, that I have the strength to deal with everything that may come my way, the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever it is. In 5 years from now, I hope, if anything, my heart is more true, that I'm keeping it more real with myself, that I'm keeping it more real with folks, that I'm able to be more open and more transparent than I am. I'm not always right. I don't pretend to be right. I don't pretend to be perfect. I don't pretend to have all the answers. Some people believe that that's how I get down. Stop it. But at the same time, I come from a place where I try to be real. I try to be forthcoming. I try to be me all the time. So if I can continue to be more of myself and become more of who I need to be, because who I am now is who I needed to be, for this moment. I was not now what I was before. So what I will be in the future, I am not yet. So in 5 years, I can hope, I can strive, I can push to be, but I don't know. The thing is I'm 20, everything knows my age themselves, man, because they don't got the newest Mustang and got a Super Supreme and bothered me and there's that. It has nothing. Well, I mean, Turtle Slayer, being 20, I'll tell anybody as a 20-year-old out there, I got a little wisdom I can give you this as a 37-year-old man. In your 20s, learn, study, grow, pay attention as much as possible. Because the next 5 years will go like that in your 20s. Your 20s will go by like that. And people in their 40s, from what they put down to me, and then in your 50s, will go like that. So the thing is to be open and honest with yourself, modestly self-efface. All I can really hope for, if I'm wise, if I'm smart, is that I'm where I need to be in the next 5 years, that I'm effective, I'm relevant, I'm honest, I'm realistic with myself. I can look in the mirror and face myself. I don't know exactly where I'm going to be. And sometimes it's best not to know. I remember, and this is one of my favorite conversations, I remember because I got work in the church, for those that know, for those that care. Next 5 years I'll be working overseas, starting in Chicago in a few months. Okay, that's cool, Molly Dolly. Congratulations with that. Welcome to America when you get here, Chicago is a nice town. Don't forget to get the deep dish pizza. So I was having a conversation, this is many years ago, in church. And there was a security guard there that I was talking to. And we were having a religious conversation. I'm not going to get deep into the conversation that we were having. But the guy said, not to knock him, he said that I want to know when the rapture is coming in, the Armageddon or something like that. And I looked at him and I said, look, I don't know about you. I'm not waiting for no rapture, no Armageddon. I'm not trying to figure out when that's coming, if the end of the world is coming, and how it's going to come. All I can focus on is right now in this moment. Because if you know when the end of something is going to come, or when something is going to happen and, I guess it's going to be over, sometimes you're so focused on that. So if I knew where I was going to be in 5 years from now, sometimes you're too focused on that future destination that you forget that you have to live out each moment, each minute, each time. 1 second at a time, 1 day at a time, as certain people say, different circles and whatnot. You can only live it, it's like one life to live, one moment as, 1 second, 1 minute, 1 hour, in each moment. You know what I'm saying? So, if that makes any sense. So I try not to go too far, because then it gets to a point where you can have goals that you set, and then you can go to the point where now you have fantasies. Like I said, in 5 years I want to be rich. In 5 years I want to be famous. In 5 years I want to be the sexiest man alive. In another 5 years, I want to be married to whoever, whoever the hottest woman on the planet is. Whatever that is. I just want to be able to be realistic with myself. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, folks. I appreciate it. Bullet Train. Yeah, you don't know where you see yourself in 5 years. I mean, listen. Here's the thing people need to understand. It's okay. It's okay. If you don't know where you're going to be in the next 5 years, it's okay. It is very okay. Because guess what? A lot of us don't know where we're going to be in the next 5 minutes. We may think we do. You may think you're going to, wake up or be in a certain place or whatever the case may be. 5 years I'll own a Skittles factory. You just might, Molly Dolly. You just might own a Skittles factory. But the thing is to keep pushing, to keep striving, to have certain principles and guidelines for how you live your life. At age 55, I can tell you, or make a statement in this world: be yourself, live yourself, not for others, set goals, go past your comfort zone. Definitely. And Molly Dolly says, step by step, day by day. Woo! There you go. I mean, realistically, I tell folks, try to live the best life that you can. You know what I mean? Try to be as realistic and honest with yourself as you can. Try to set life goals, as it's been taught to me. Don't just try to set 5 years and 10-year goals. Have things that you want to accomplish for your life. If there's only 1 or 2 different things that you want to accomplish in your lifetime, that you really have to accomplish, then set those things out, whatever those things are. I got a few things that I want to accomplish and set out for my life, so I'll worry about that. It could be 5 things, it could be 6 things, it could be 10 things, that you're going to do. You look at it as somebody, like they go to political office, let's say it's like a president or somebody who's going to be, a prime minister or something like that. They have an agenda of certain things that they're going to accomplish. They're not going to save the world. You could try. Not saying you can't, but you try to accomplish what the most important things are to you. By the way, bro, I've been keeping up with your videos. It's helpful in ways I never knew. I appreciate that, Bullet Train. Obviously the people in this community, are helpful to me as well in ways that you can't understand. You being here, the questions, the comments, the criticisms, the lurking, whatever it is, the resharing of it, it's all good. What up, big thing? It's no, 1 day at a time. Yes, a lot of people was echoing that sentiment. Yas Poet, 1 day at a time. Yeah, respect for being open about your religion. I don't understand normally. Always have something smart to say about it. Yeah, no, I mean, I actually wasn't really talking about religion. I was just talking about a situation that happened, but I appreciate that, Turtle Slayer. Actually, I don't try to get too deep into religion here. I don't really talk too much about that. I just try to have open conversations. I'm not here trying to proselytize anybody. I'm not here trying to say, when the Lord said, nah, I mean, you got churches and places you can go for that. There are folks out there that are atheists. One of my good friends, best friends, are atheists. So, I know the struggle. We've had debates. I wish some of those debates could go on the live stream. Those would be some interesting conversations. But he doesn't want to go on the live stream with those debates, with those conversations we've had. And it is Llama Monster. Always good when you see a Llama Monster in here. I see you change the logo again. It's all good. But for the most part, like I said, it's okay. It's cool not to have to know where you're going to be in 5 years from now. Excuse me. As I have to turn on my wash machine. I keep forgetting. So I'm here. I don't know. Any thoughts, folks, on where you think you'll be in the next 5 years? Where do you see yourself? What do you see yourself doing? How do you see yourself progressing? Do you see yourself falling back? Does it matter where you are in the next 5 years? What do you think as the viewer? Because, it was a question that was posed and asked to me, but it's also something that, like I said, I can ask to you. Where do you see yourself? Serving the Most High is a personal relationship. Yes, it is, Yas Poet. Amen. and it's something that each individual has to decide whether or not they want to get right with the Creator. So I don't try to hit folks too deep with that. In a van down the river, working as a freelance motivational speaker. That would be interesting to see Llama Monster as a freelance motivational speaker in the van. How you in one of those mystery vans. One day is he going to pop out with bears, the next day is he going to pop out as a motivational speaker? Is he going to be a clown? Is he going to be a stripper? What is Llama Monster going to be today? Who knows? Stay tuned. He's there in the mystery van. I can picture you like the It movie, you flow too. No, stop. I'm messing with you. But like I said, it's nothing wrong with setting goals. There's nothing wrong with striving. There's nothing wrong with pushing. There's nothing wrong with trying to go beyond and do what it is that you feel is necessary for you, or where you need to be to challenge yourself. Hopefully in the next 5 years, like I said, I've challenged myself and I've been pushed, not prodded, but pushed and propelled to that moment where, what, I need to be. That's really what I care about at the end of the day. Where do I need to be? What do I need to know? Why is this important to me? Even this moment, I'm thinking about in the back of my mind, why is this important for me to be on this live stream? Why is it important for me to push on? Why is it important for me to stay on YouTube? Why is it important for me to strive and try to do other things that I'm doing? What's going on, Deadhead? I appreciate it. We're just having a conversation, chopping it up about a question that was asked from my mother. Where do I see myself in the next 5 years from now? And sometimes it's not really an easy question to answer, because even when you think you figured it out, even when you think you got it all mapped out and together, there's always the unknown. That's what I tell people, always plan for the unknown, always plan for the obstacles, the pitfalls, because it's like I was breaking it down. God willing, in 5 years, we would still be alive and healthy. Yes, Deadhead. Kind of ironic you say that, knowing the title of your screen name. But yeah, we hope in 5 years. But it's like I was telling my mother one time. It's like if you're sitting down in a chair. Let's say this is the door. This is the chair. Now to get to the door, you have to go through the obstacles until you get to this point. Then you go through more obstacles until you get to that point, and then you go through more obstacles till you get to that point. Now if you have a straight shot, that's great. That's a rare moment. But as you go into the door, from wherever you're sitting, wherever you're posted, wherever your position is, you're trying to get to that destination. Even if it's just from point A to point B, you find yourself in the grind, in the struggle, trying to get to that thing. And you may have distractions, you may have strains, you may have sicknesses, you may have things that you forget, you may have things that take you off and move you to another path. You may find yourself in a totally different destination than what you thought. But the question is, in 5 years from now, will you be where you need to be? Will you be doing what's set out in your heart? Will you be accomplishing those things that you had secretly, deep down within your soul that nobody knew about? The stuff that you confided in yourself with, or your maker, or your lover, or your best friend. Will you be doing those things that you secretly desire to do? Who knows? But the thing is, if you really care about where you're going to be in the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever it may be, next 5 minutes, then it is about taking each moment seriously. Not being too hard on yourself, but at the same time understanding that, anything can happen. The good, the bad, the ugly, all at once sometimes. But it's beautiful when you take on the moment, you seize it. Take the bull by the horns. Sherry K, what's going on? Yeah, yes I will, God willing. God willing, all you be alive. You know what I'm saying? Whether you believe in God or not. I hope that wherever you are, whoever you are on here or in life, I hope that you make it to the next 5 years. Because it's like a old timer told me. He says when destiny has an appointment, or when you have an appointment with destiny, life only requires one thing from you. I'll say that again. What's going on, Coping Alone? When you have a date with destiny, life only requires one thing, and one thing only does life require from you when you have a date with destiny: that you survive. If you have things that you're destined to do, if you have things that you're gonna accomplish in 5 years, the next 5 minutes, the next 5 days, the next 5 months, the next 5 seconds, life requires you to survive. we're making a difference in someone's part of the package, then it's well worth it. Yes, I agree with that, Yas Poet. If you're going to make a difference in somebody's life, if you're going to help a lot of people, like Turtle Slay is saying, if you're going to try to own a factory of Skittles, or if you're going to do something significant, unfortunately, even if you're going to do something negative, life requires that you survive and get to that moment. Because you can't do nothing in 5 years if you can't survive the next 5 minutes, the next 5 days, the next 5 months, the next 5 seconds, you know, the next moment, or whatever the case may be. It is about survival, understanding, you know, that struggle, understanding your place where you belong. Are you doing what you're supposed to be doing at any given moment? You know, are you in the right place? And people get out of position. It's about repositioning yourself as well too. Sometimes we just get sidetracked. I think it's a famous Vince Lombardi quote that says usually people fail to score when they take their eyes off the goal. The goal is right here, but I'm over here looking at the cheerleaders. Oh, let's go Cowboys! But I play for the Packers. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what that is. So it's about, are you focused? And it's okay to get distracted. You know what I'm saying? And as like I said in other subsequent live streams, it's okay to fall down. Why do we fall? A lot of times we fall to learn to get back up. You know, like it says, like riding a bike, it's about, you know, having balance. One of the most important lessons that I've ever learned was falling. Learning how to fall. Learning how to fall on a bike. I'm riding the bike. Went into the fence. Oh, meltdown. Oh, he down. So I get myself up, dust myself off. I come back like a champion. I get back on the bike. I ride. Oh, meltdown. Oh, he down. You know, then I get back up. Keep going at it again. You know, got a couple of bruises that I'm not going to show you. A little old, but you keep falling down, keep going into the fence. Then you learn to balance yourself. You see that fence coming, you see that obstacle, you say, look, I don't want to fall into that fence again. That hard black fence, it's hurting me. You know what I'm saying? It hit me like a ton of bricks. It hit me like a bully or something. It's whooping up on me. So if I don't want to run into that fence, I'm going to learn to balance myself on this bike. I'm going to learn to ride through. I'm going to learn to get through the obstacles and all the stuff that I need to do. And that's like a metaphor for life. You know, you learn how to get through the obstacles. You learn how to push yourself and propel yourself and balance yourself. Life is about balance. And if you find yourself being balanced, not too much excess, not too many distractions, even if you get distracted, not beating yourself up. There's things that I should have done and need to do. What's going on, Size Dad? Happy St. Patrick's to you. You know, I did have some Irish coffee today for the luck of the Irish, first time. You know, so that's what that is. But, you know, it is about having balance in life with the things that you want to do, particularly. You know, and just saying, okay, I have a goal. I'm focused. When it matters to you most, whatever that is in 5 years, if you really want to get there, then you'll get there or be the closest to it. And here's the thing. If in 5 years you're not where you want to be or need to be or feel like you should be or whatever the case may be, sometimes it's a situation that may have taken longer than that. Sometimes it didn't require something where it was just a 5-year thing. Maybe it was a 10-year thing. Maybe it was a 20-year thing. Maybe it was a lifetime appointment for something that you just had to survive. You'll know how long it takes or when the moment is right for whatever it is that you're trying to do and trying to accomplish. You know, the 5 years is almost an arbitrary type thing. This is to say, you know, you work towards something and you get there in a particular time. And if you get there in that time, then maybe that was meant for you to get there in that 5 years or whatever that was. That's some good tea. But like I was saying, you know, a lot of times it's about just focusing and refocusing. You know, Stephen Covey has a book, you know, the 7 highly effective habits of successful people. I think it's 7, you know, 7 habits of highly effective people, something like that. And one of the habits is sharpening the tool and then resharpening the tool. So you learn how to sharpen the knife, you know, sharpen the knife so you can cut through, you know, whatever it is you're trying to cut through. And then learn to resharpen the knife so you can accomplish and cut through whatever, you know, stuff that you're trying to get through. You know, cut through the BS, cut through the obstacles, you know, balance yourself, get to a point where you need to be. Like I said, hopefully this is making sense. Hopefully this is helping somebody. I know it is. I know it's not helping everybody. But guess what? Mel keeps pushing. Mel keeps doing what he got to do. He's even speaking about himself in the third person. The reason I take the time to say all this to you It's because sometimes people are too hard on themselves. Sometimes there's these arbitrary things that people go through when society tells you where you should be and what you should be doing, and your failure if you haven't reached it at a certain level, or if you don't look a certain way, or if you don't go to a certain school, if you don't come from a certain background, if you're not a certain type of person, if you don't come from a certain family, if you don't have a certain job, whatever that is, screw all that. Like I said, you have to figure out what means the most to you, where you should be, what's in your heart. As it is written in the good book, they said a man's treasure is where his passion is, and I'm paraphrasing that. So find your passion, figure out where your passion is, pursue that, go after that. And maybe that's the thing that you will find in the next 5 years. You never know. You really never know. Like I said, you'll never know if you give up. You say people that usually fail are the ones that fail to try. Have you tried to even get to where you need to be? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it doesn't have to be a thing where you don't reach where you need to reach. Maybe in 5 years, if you push, you'll get there. But in the next 5 years, like I said, the biggest thing, which people have said in this live stream, is what the key thing is that you're alive, you're healthy. You know what I'm saying? Iron sharpens iron, Sherry K. There you go. Hey, what's going on, lovely Kid Japan? Did you see me 5 years ago? Who knows? Maybe I did. But now, can you see me in 5 years? Can you see me in 5 years? I can see you in 5 years. I can see all of you in 5 years. I've seen myself knowing somebody from Japan. Like I said, it wasn't a far-fetched thing to know somebody from Japan. I may not have seen it as lovely Kid Japan, but hey, look at it this way. I'm contacting with somebody who lives in Japan. I saw myself one day going to Japan. Now, guess what? I've never stepped foot in Japan, but through your live streams, lovely Kid Japan, I have done that. I have taken trips and journeys with you and your family through the markets, through the hotels, all those type of things. And so it becomes even more of a realization. So, I've seen different things. The question is not whether you've seen it. Do you believe in what you see? Do you believe in the possibilities for what you can do? You know what I'm saying? So it comes down to that. It comes into the confidence. Hopefully, whatever it is that you're doing out there, whoever you are, whatever you do, hopefully each day you gain that confidence to achieve that, to push towards that more and more, because that's sometimes the difference. The difference is sometimes between you and that next person, or you and that person with money, with resources, with looks, with talent and all that. Sometimes the difference is just the confidence, the talent. It's like the story of the tortoise and the hare. A lot of you heard the story of the tortoise and the hare. They go on the race, and the tortoise believes that it can beat the tortoise knows that it can beat the hare, but the hare believes that it can beat the tortoise hands down, no problem, because it's faster. Now, if the hare keeps going, of course, it can smoke, or just go past the tortoise without a problem. But what does the hare do? The rabbit gets so far ahead of the tortoise and says, you know what? I'm going to sleep it off. And fell asleep so much to the point where the tortoise is inching by, and then all of a sudden, that's what that is. Forgive me, I have a phone call. I have a phone call, and I'll be right back. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Like you said, if you can survive the next 5 minutes, then you can make some progress. Yes. And that's what it is, y'all's poet. But back to the story of the tortoise and the hare. For those that will listen, I'm not going. For you folks that are going, then you're missing the point. But it's okay, I get it. Okay, so it's like this. The story of the tortoise and the hare. Basically, the hare being the rabbit was faster than the tortoise being the turtle. Now, if the hare would have kept going, could have easily won the race. Underestimated the opponent, underestimated the obstacles, and then basically the tortoise kept going and inching by the hare as it fell asleep. So as the hare fell asleep, the tortoise, the turtle, the slower one, kept going and moved forward and inched forward and won the race. Why is this important? This is important even for those folks. Yes, we can be turtles. Yes, there are folks out there who can be hares. But the thing about it is this. If you keep moving forward towards your goals, you'll accomplish, you'll get where you need to be, and you'll find yourself in that vein, in that light, whatever that is. But the thing is to keep going, and there's another analogy too. It's like a man trying to go after the gold. One man is on the top, has a whole long way to go, and he's still going feverishly. The other man that has given up on the bottom only has a few more ticks, a few more things to go, and he stops, because he feels as if it's enough. It's over. It's nothing to see. Just like this live stream. I can stop this live stream because a lot of people just left the live stream. Maybe they didn't hear me. I took a call. That was it. Enough was enough. They said he's off, so I'm going. I keep saying I got a message. I got a point, something that I want to put out there. Like I said, turtles live slow lives but long. That's an old Japanese style. Yes, but that's the point. Lovely Kid Japan. The thing is, even if it takes you a certain amount of time, which seems slower to the rest of the world or to somebody else who moves at a faster pace, doesn't mean it's over. You know what I'm saying? Somebody said, what is it? A fast nickel is better than a slow dollar. But if you wait for that slow dollar, you can actually, make millions. So whatever the case may be, it depends on you, how you look at it, matter of perspective. So as far as the next 5 years for you, whoever you are, whoever may see this in the replay, if you watch the replay, Molly 1K, woo, welcome back. It all really depends on how much it means to you. It all really depends on where you want to go with all this. It really depends on, how serious you are about your goals. Because like I said, there's things that you can accomplish in the next 5 years. There's things you can accomplish in the next 5 minutes. It really depends on where you go. It really depends on how you want to go about it. It really depends on how focused and how aligned things are for you to move. I believe in the quantum leap theory. How one thing could take seem like ages, and then in the next second you can be leapfrogged and pushed to the limit, to the next goal, to the next level in seconds. It really depends on who you are. It depends on how much of yourself you're willing to open up and be honest with, and how much confidence you're willing to have in the process. You're willing to have in forces outside of yourself. So and that's just one of the things I believe with that. But it's to each his own. What is your motivation? Sometimes that's the thing about people, where they're gonna be in the next 5 years. It's like even with Molly Dolly. It's like, what was her motivation to go after her degree? What was the confidence level to go after your degree? You had to have something that was driving you beyond the circumstances, that was driving you beyond, the requirements, the goals, the obstacles, and stuff like that. So it's like, what do you have that's pushing you forward? What do you have that's leading you to that next level and taking you to that point where you need to be, where you want to be? You know what I'm saying? Maybe this sounds corny to a couple of people. Maybe this is not for you, and I get that. But for those folks that get the message, that understand where I'm coming from, you know what? It really is a matter of what you want and how bad you want it and what you're willing to do to get it. And then the time sometimes is just as a formality. Sometimes that's just what's necessary for you to learn particular things in that process. It may take you 5 years because you need that 5 years to understand the pitfalls, the distractions. You may need to understand what's coming next. You may need to bring somebody with you. You may need time to mature. You may not be who you need to be in the beginning of the journey. A lot of times we have to become different people in order to get to the next 5 years the way we should. And let's talk about the other side of it. In 5 years, obviously there's a lot of people that'll be worse off than what they are. YouTube motivation pushes me up. That's true. I watch inspiring vids to be inspired. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that, Lovely Kid Japan. The other side is true too. Just like you can be pushed forward to try to accomplish things in a positive, uplifting, upbuilding way, there are people that do the negative. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I have to go to the negative part. There are people who lose hope in themselves. There's people who get defeated. There's people that sabotage themselves. And that goes into Murphy's Law, what can go wrong will go wrong, the self-fulfilling prophecy, the anarchist, like I said, the person that's always seeing, the dark cloud instead of the silver lining. Hopefully you're not that person, but the reality is there are people like that out there. And for those that I say, it works that way. So in 5 years, you can be in a position where you're still striving, you're still shining, you're still improving. Because each day you can improve in some way. In some way. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be a whole bunch of negatives. You can be knocked 2 steps back, but then you can go 5 steps forward. You could be knocked 10 steps back, but you can still go 3, 4 steps forward. You could keep pushing. You could quantum leap that and go 50 steps forward after being knocked 20 steps back. It really depends on whether or not you're willing to fight the good fight and push and strive and struggle and strain. You know, like I said, I'm not where negative is. Nah, the aura. I agree with you, lovely Kid Japan. That's not where you want to be. But the reality is there are people who are like that. And I would say if you have anything that you're trying to accomplish, if you have any goals, any dreams, any hopes that you're going after, stay away from those people. You know, like I said, if you see somebody telling you what you can't do, if you see somebody out there trying to stop you from doing what you are doing, then maybe you need to separate and move away from those people. Sometimes they're family members, sometimes they're friends, sometimes they're lovers, sometimes they're co-workers, sometimes they're YouTubers, who knows? You know, there's always somebody telling you what you can't do, especially when you're in the midst of doing it. And I forget that proverb where it says, you know, when you're faced with people telling you what you can't do, tell them to move out of your way while you do it. You know what I'm saying? That's what happens. You know, when you got people out there telling you what you can't do. You ever had to declutter YouTube also? Yeah, no, it is like that, lovely Kid Japan. When you have people out there telling you what you can't do, you know, and what's not possible, you tell them to move out the way while you get it on, while you do what it is that's possible. What's up, Michael Skeen? Thank you for coming through. I mean, because I constantly have people tell me, especially here with YouTube, what's not possible, what I shouldn't do. Why am I wasting my time? Why am I doing these silly videos? Why am I trying to live stream with you? I don't know if you folks realize it. There are people who really do not want me to live stream to you. And I'm not making this up. There are multiple people, not saying that they're significant, but there are multiple people who do not want me to live stream. I'm talking about not one live stream, not here or whatever. I'm talking about at all. At all. Like, why are you wasting your time? Why are you doing these silly videos? Why are you talking and acting like you got something to say? And I'm just having a conversation. Hopefully it's helpful to people and whatnot. Yeah, lovely Kid Japan. Because maybe, you know, like I said, you'd have to ask them. I don't know. I don't know why. Maybe they feel like I'm wasting my time. But this is something that's important to me. You never let anyone tell you you can't do anything. You do what's best for you and right for yourself. Yeah, you have to. You have to, because if you don't do what's right for yourself, if you let people tear you down and then things don't work out, that same person will turn around and say, well, I didn't make you do it. You did it on your own. You'll have people that'll tell you and influence you not to do what it is, and then when you don't do it, they're looking at you like, well, you chose to do that, and they're right. You know, what's going on? What's going on, Testbrook BKNY? So, you know, spread love is the Brooklyn way. You know, yeah, people can bring you down, but sometimes that's only if you let them. People do what you allow them to do. You know, and that goes into where you need to be. If you're around people who are negative, who are bringing you down, then maybe you may not achieve what you want to achieve in the next 5 years. Till you don't let people bring you down, do everything by your style. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, lovely Kid Japan. But the reason I say this is because sometimes there are people out there, you know, as you, the watchers, the viewers, the people out there doing your own thing. They're naysayers, they're doubters, they're critics. They're people that are not adding anything to the situation, because this is how I feel personally. Michael Skeen, you have a mind of your own to do what's best for you, and like saying judge the book by its cover. Exactly, I agree with that, Michael Skeen. You know, do your thing. I agree with that. Thank you. Here's how I feel about it. I don't mind people criticizing me. I don't mind people telling me if I'm doing something wrong. I've grown, I've learned to a level like that, to where if you see something wrong, or if you see a piece of a cheese on my face, or, you know, some ash I gotta clean off, or you see me saying something incorrect, you know, a false, or hurting somebody, I don't mind you telling me that I'm wrong or I should do it a different way. The problem comes in is when you criticize me and bring me down and tear me down, but you're not trying to help me. You're not trying to give me constructive criticism. And there's people that give constructive criticism. Why is this important to the conversation? It's important to the conversation because these are the things that happen when we let people around us that influence us in negative ways and stop us from, from achieving and overcoming, you know, different obstacles and goals, you know, to get to certain goals and whatnot. Don't follow people, follow yourself. Well, I say follow principles. I don't say follow people, but follow principles. Understand the principles for what you should have to guide you in life to be where you need to be. You know, now if you have somebody that you're following or that you're looking at that has good principles, follow the principles, of that person or learn the principles of that person in order to get yourself to where you need to be. Hopefully the dry is not right. Yeah, you say follow the right people, but I say follow the right principles in your life. Because people live, people die, legacies fade, you know what I'm saying? So, but principles don't, you know what I'm saying? Principles don't fade unless you allow them to fade. Principles can stand, a man or a woman on his principles, the principles can live on long after that person, you know what I'm saying? So that's just what I believe about that. But it comes to a point, you learn how to be who you need to be, if who you want to be. What's going on, Red Dragon? Thank you for coming through, But all this relates to where people see themselves in the next 5 years, or where I see myself in the next 5 years, because it's not always an easy answer. It's not always, okay, I see myself there and then I'm just there. I could be there, good to see you again as well, Red Dragon. Thank you for coming through. It is good to say, okay, this is where I am today, and this is where I am going to be tomorrow. But what we fool ourselves with is to think that we're just going to walk from point A to point B with no obstacles, and that's that. What's going on, Patch Brother Mel? I wanted to say hey and see if you were done with your stream. Would you like to join my panel? Yeah. Let me see what time it is. Give me 1 second. Yes, Patch, I can join your panel. I'll come on there for a few minutes. But like I said, as I'm about to wrap this up, because I'm gonna go check out Patch, see if he can give me the invite to his live stream. Be mindful that it is about the principles in which you live by. It is about the balance which you have in your life, the confidence which you allow yourself to move forward with, in what it is that you did to propel yourself, and understanding, looking back at what you've accomplished and what you've done. Understanding that you've come a long way from where you've been. And not beating yourself up if you fall down or if you have missteps. You know what I mean? Goals are the way to go. Yes, they are. And on that note, I say spread love. Thanks for watching. It's the Brooklyn Way.